So I have got something for you guys that is more exciting, that is more usable, that has perfect specs. So here in the industry, the phones are getting more like luxury commodities. The big smartphone companies are introducing more and more gimmicky features like the SpaceX zoom or the 100 megapixels camera it's like in a small sensor. So in that type of industry or in that type of market, I know there are a huge number of people that use smartphones for their needs, for their day-to-day needs, like making calls, having a good screen, or making photos. So there are a huge number of people that just want a phone with a good battery life, with a good design, or having a good screen or a good camera. But here comes the most important part of the smartphone industry is the pricing. So the phones are getting more and more expensive over the years. That's like more frustrating for the average consumers. Like I know there are more budget phones available in the market, but the luxury brands or the big corporations present in the smartphone industry are pushing the prices. So in an industry that you have to pay $1,400 for something that have the extra features that no any average consumer doesn't want. I know there are a few number of people that want that. Why not to push the limits of technology in 2020? So they are ready to pay $1,400 for something, but there are a huge number of people that simply doesn't want to pay for something that they do not need, that do not fulfill their needs. So it's like a something available but something not to be needed by a huge number of people. So I have got a phone for you guys that doesn't have a high refresh rate display or a SpaceX zoom. So I know that not every one of you is gonna go to the top of your house or look at the moon through your phone, the craters on the moon through your screen. So it's a phone that doesn't have the punch holes, or it doesn't have the iconic notch. So I have got something for you guys. It's you guys might have been using this thing, or you guys might have seen this thing. It's the Galaxy Note 9. So in my opinion, this phone is the most complete smartphone of the Samsung, or it's like the most perfect, near to most perfect smartphone in the industry and in its own time. I know the industry has changed, things are getting more gimmicky. So I know there are a huge number of people in the smartphone consumer market that simply just want a phone with a better camera, having a good screen, or something that is more modern in a sense of the needs, not in a sense of something that doesn't every person doesn't want simply. So this phone checks all the needs. The high refresh display is like it's I think that not every average consumer is gonna feel the difference between the standard display or a 90 hertz or a 120 hertz. I know it feels a little bit more faster. The animations are it's like faster than the average, but it on the other hand it is like a killer for your battery, or it's gonna make your phone more expensive. So I know not every one of you is gonna spend $1,400 for something that has a SpaceX zoom or a big slab of cameras on its back. So and that's also gonna lose its nearly half of its value in less than a year or maybe a year. So it's $1,400 is a big price to pay for something that not every average consumer wants, and that is not needed by a huge number of people. I know people might be using this thing as a luxury commodity. I think that not every average consumer is gonna miss the 5G on their phones. It's the thing that's not available everywhere. It's like available only to the biggest the cellular providers around the world. So this phone doesn't have anything that you simply just miss out in the smartphone market. In a modern smartphone, this thing has one of the best design of its time, and it's like more shiny, it's more premium looking thing today as well. So I have used this phone for a while, and I'm gonna love this thing. So it's like a smartphone, more perfect. It's more. You just look at the specs. It has expandable storage. It has various storage options. Yeah, I know the processor is a little bit behind the newest processors, but it's good. It has a very good battery life, especially over the One UI update. So it's gonna be upgradable to the latest One UI 2.1, and it has the Android 10 available. I haven't updated this thing, but yeah, it's available for this. So this guy have a very good display. It was one of the best display of that time, and today it's also the best display. It's far more ahead than many smartphones having a good display at this price, and as well as the flagship price. So the AMOLED displays are always liked by everyone. It has some rich colors, it has a very good contrast, it has the black and the white reproduction, very excellent. So the color accuracy is a little bit shaken on in this display, especially the AMOLED display, but yeah, the colors, overall the colors, not everyone is gonna feel this thing. Video watching or media consumption or this thing is really exciting. So this design is very complete. It is the best design of any smartphones, I think, and it's in its own time. So it feels more solid. The frame is very solid. It's like good looking. The cuts are very accurate. So I personally love this blue color. The camera placement is very excellent, and it feels more comfortable in the hand. This design language and the screen orientation is very great. The corners feel more solid. Camera placement is good, and the fingerprint placement is very good. It was like on the side in the Note 8, so they put it down here, and it's pretty fast, and it's like and with the software updates, you just put your finger on the sensor and it just unlocks it. So you just do not have to turn on the screen every time. You just simply put your finger on the sensor and it unlocks the phone. So the battery life on this thing is excellent. You're gonna have 5+ hours of screen on time consistently. With the moderate usage or with the heavy usage, you're gonna have 4 to 4.5 hours of screen on time. So with the software update, with the One UI update, it has much improved. The standby time is excellent with this update. So you're gonna start your day at 8 a.m. or 9 a.m. and you're gonna kill this thing at 10 p.m. or 11 p.m. or might be 12 a.m. So it has a pretty good discharge cycle. It's like 15 to 18 hours with the 4 to 5 to plus hours of screen on time. So the speed on this thing is excellent. It's much more smoother and faster than many smartphones. Yeah, it's not like the 2020 smartphones were having 2 generations of processor ahead than this thing, but yeah, it's much more speedier, and it has improved very much with the software update. The One UI is more fluid. It feels more comfortable. It feels much more speedy, and it doesn't feel anything slow by any means. And it's upgradable to Android 10, and I haven't upgraded this thing, but yeah, it's upgradable, and it will feel much more easier. The animations will feel much more great. The Exynos version is a little bit getting warmer than the Snapdragon version. So I have this thing with the dual SIM Exynos version. So the Exynos is like a little bit lagging behind the Snapdragon version of this thing. So, and I know not every one of you, but the experts know on the YouTube that the Exynos phones are a little bit lagging behind in terms of the battery life or in terms of the performance. So this camera is excellent. It produces very great photos. The photos are very clear. It has a very fast autofocus. You just cannot feel that this thing is focusing on something. You just put something in front of it in a certain length, so it focuses in a blink. I don't remember the time, how much time it takes, but yeah, it's very fast. It produces some very great background blur on the close subjects. So the photos are very clear. It's like taken by something. The sensor size is big, and it feels much more clear, and the photos feels much more smoother, and it doesn't have any much more noise. So these photos, the photo quality is very excellent on this thing. So it produces some excellent daylight shots, and the close subjects are very clear. Colors are very good. It has a very great contrast. The Samsung cameras are famous for producing high contrast photos. So the night shots are pretty decent, but not at the point where the Samsung mentioned their variable aperture. It's like the human eye, allowing more light to enter the lens and fall on the sensor at various lighting conditions. It's not. It's like it's not more than something fooling the guys at the conference. Yeah, but it produces some decent night shots. So it produces some pretty great selfies. The selfie cameras have not that much changed since the Galaxy S7. I don't know the reason, but yeah, it produces some very good bright selfies. The faces are a little bit creamy, yeah, but it focuses on the faces very much good, so it produces some very good selfies. And it can record 4K at 60 frames. That's not something that's much needed by everyone, yeah, but it's good to be present. It's 2020, so the more the frames and the more the good looking video, I think. Both the microphones are doing a good job in video recording. This one and this one, they capture a very great sound. Speakers on this thing are very great. The bottom one is very clear and loud, and it maintains the sound at the very highest level of the volume, so it doesn't distort the sound like the iPhones on the highest level of the volume. And the instrument separation is very great. The bass is decent, not that much, and it produces pretty great surround sound, especially this bottom one is. The earpiece also is a speaker, and it adds the volume. It adds a little bit 20 to 30% volume to the bottom one, and it's a good, it's not that much of a speaker like this one. So it feels like the sound is coming from around the phone, and it's coming from the center of the phone. So for media consumption, for music, it's very great. It feels very crisp, and it's pure pleasure, especially by combining both these speakers. So overall, these speakers are very good sounding speakers, and the media consumption and the music experience is very great on this. The second one was the earpiece. It has a headphone jack, and I personally do not miss this thing, but yeah, it has a very long history from the old media devices, the tape recorders, the radios, etc. And there are a huge number of people who are gonna miss this thing. And yeah, I think that the companies have removed this thing for almost no reason. These big bodies have more than enough space to fit in a headphone jack. But yeah, the companies are trying to make this port usable for many things. And the S Pen, to be honest, I don't use this thing. I simply don't enjoy writing on this black slippery glass. But yeah, it's good for highlighting on your girlfriend or boyfriend's screenshots. It's good for that purpose. I only like this click, and the Samsung has added some new features in the recent one. So I think it has added some ugliness to this phone too. It doesn't feel that much clean over here. So overall, this is the phone which you're going to use in 2020, considering its price and features. And remember, I will be mentioning in my upcoming videos every component and feature of every phone in a row of categories, from great to good to average and below average, poor and very poor. So after that, noticing all the components and the features in a row of these categories, then you can decide whether that is best suited for you or not. So this phone is near to perfection in terms of the practicality. It has a very good software. It's updated to Android 10 with One UI 2.1. I haven't updated this thing because it is a fresh piece, but yeah, it's definitely upgradable. So it has a very good camera, it has a very great screen, it has a very good build quality, it has a very great battery life. So in terms of durability, this thing is very solid. You will see some wear marks on the body, especially on this S Pen, but yeah, that's not clearly visible, and you'll see some minor scratches on the screen and on the back if you use it without a screen protector or a case. But yeah, I know it's a very pleasure using it without a screen protector or a case. So guys, this is all about the Galaxy Note 9, which is worth considering in 2020, especially at this price. You can get this thing for about less than $400 to $700 depending on various markets and various platforms and the condition of this phone, whether it's used or not. So this is my first video on YouTube. I know my language is not perfect, but I will try my best to deliver what I know, what I think, and what I feel. And I'm waiting for your recommendations in the comments below, and let me know in the comments below which phone should I discuss over here. And please be sure to subscribe and like if you like this video. See you in the next one.